Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the season finale of MATC Now, coming to you live from the downtown campus in the Milwaukee PBS studios. I'm your host, Luis De Leon, and today we take a look at how to stay healthy during the winter holidays, the recent mock interviews done by our Job Shop program, and even take a look at the TV program here on campus. All that and more coming up on the season finale of MATC Now. Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a very special guest co-host, Brian Carlson. Thank you for joining us today this afternoon.
Thanks for having me, Luis.
Yeah, of course. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself and what you do here at MATC?
Sure. So I'm the Associate Dean for the School of Media and Creative Arts, provide leadership and management for the programs here within that. And as one of those programs is the television and video production program. So I understand we're going to hear some more about that here today. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, later on. That brings us to our first segment where Matt Cox has an interview with Jay Kinshey to talk about health tech and learn a little bit more about the brain.
The brain is a tremendous, powerful organ. Your brain is constantly making changes and evolving through the process of neuroplasticity.
Neuroplasticity is the natural phenomenon that our brain changes with exposure to new things. So when we learn something new, like someone's name or their face, within our brain we actually form new and fragile connections. And if we never think about that thing again, or we never see that person again, those connections are lost. But if we see them with regularity, or if we think about it a lot, those structures get stronger and stronger. One of the most significant differences between children's brains and adults' brains is the amount of plasticity. We know that children's brains are remarkably plastic. For example, a 3-year-old can learn a new word sometimes just by one exposure, whereas an adult learning a foreign language, for example, needs many, many exposures for that word to really stick. So one of the most significant differences is just how plastic the brain is. Kids' brains are like little sponges. They really soak up information at a different rate than do adults. The latest research suggests that the adult's brain isn't really completely formed and done wiring until probably after the age of 20. Now that being said, even far into our older years, we can still learn new things. But the part of our brain that really makes us human, and the parts of our brain that make us different as individuals, is really right up here in the frontal lobe. The prefrontal cortex is the part of our brain that allows us to make complicated decisions and to judge right from wrong. And we know that that part of the brain isn't really fully developed until after the age of 20. There are a lot of different ways that we can keep our brain healthy. I think of nutrition as being one way. So a proper diet and a low inflammation diet is a good way to keep our brains healthy. Physical activity, cardiovascular exercise has been shown to improve not just blood flow to the brain, but actually help our brain to grow new cells. So in adulthood, for example, older people can probably benefit more from cardiovascular exercise than from what we might think of as cognitive tasks like crossword puzzles or Sudoku.
Your brain also makes changes in your sleep. It detoxifies itself. When sleeping, your brain is busy forming new memories and consolidating old memories. This is why sleep is much needed for a great memory. The less sleep we get, the less our brains get a chance to strengthen those new memories.
Research has shown that adults who really engage in new learning activities throughout life probably have more robust memories and are less likely to develop dementia. So maybe we should all try to continue to learn new things as adults, travel, trying new restaurants, trying to find new forms of music or becoming really socially engaged with our community. These are all really good habits for us to engage in as we get older, and those will almost certainly help to keep our brain healthy.
Surely some interesting information to hear, and we were talking before when we saw this package, got a little smarter just by watching all that information about the brain, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what Jay was talking about there, I think is really true, and some of the things I was thinking about when he was going through that is how, you know, even something as simple as phone numbers, something we would remember on a regular basis in the past. Maybe now we're not doing that as much because of our cell phones now, they're in our phones, so just that repetition is no longer there. But it was really fascinating, really interesting to hear.
Right. Now Fernando Mora shows us how to stay healthy during the holiday season, and Reggie Adams takes a look at the recent mock interviews done by the Job Shop program.
Winter has arrived in Wisconsin, setting the stage for a great holiday season. But as temperatures drop and people do more shopping, planning, and eating, our bodies can become ill due to more stress and more unhealthy food. Judy Springer, an instructor in the physical education department, has some great tips on staying healthy through the holidays.
So staying active in the winter really is a little bit of an art and a little bit of a science. The big idea is to find activities that you can do inside. Probably the easiest thing at MATC is just to do a hallway hike. You know, between classes, maybe spend 5 extra minutes walking in the hallway, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, trying to find things that you can do that don't require money, but do kind of add up the exercise minutes throughout the day.
Now the holidays for some can mean even more stress due to planning gatherings, the pressure of giving, and the lack of time.
It kind of creeps up on us, and then all of a sudden it just lays us out flat. So what we can do is try to put in those little exercise spurts throughout the day. Exercise releases the body's neurotransmitters called endorphins, those natural painkillers, and so those are the guys that improve your mood, give you that sense of perspective. They help to just ease that load a little bit. You probably don't have time during the holidays to start a new exercise routine, but maybe just finding ways to incorporate those small little snippets of exercise on a consistent basis is really going to help to ease that stress. Everybody makes it through the holidays, but we want you to enjoy the holidays, and exercise is going to allow you to do that a little bit better.
And while the food we get to indulge in during the holiday season is delicious, one must be careful with the amount and the food choices we make. Ann Sheridan, a registered nurse and MATC Employee Wellness Coordinator, has more information on eating during the holidays.
But what happens is that when you're not used to eating that volume, your body's saying, I'm not liking this, I don't want this. It could be anything from abdominal pain, bloating, diarrhea, vomiting, and just feeling miserable because you're not used to it. And then, you consistently, there's day one, and there's a holiday day 2, and you eat all the sugar cookies and have some whatever. You're not used to the calorie intake, your body starts to change a little bit, and then going back to that healthy or better diet or lack of all the chips and dips and hors d'oeuvres, it's going to take a little bit. Good thing to remember is, just like they say, don't go shopping on an empty stomach. If you're going to a party or you know there's going to be lots of food and alcohol, make sure that you go there with something on your stomach.
Just bring a vegetable tray yourself to a gathering. Give yourself some healthy options. Certainly enjoy the foods that are familiar to you, that your aunt or your sister or brother make, and this is a specialty of theirs. Don't deprive yourself, but try to balance it out a little bit. Focus on those healthier foods when you can, when you have meals at home, those types of things.
Another way of remaining motivated is to sign up for a physical education class where you can obtain a college credit while improving your health.
It's a wonderful way to get a workout in, get a college credit, have an instructor that's trained and able to provide you with a good quality workout. You don't have to really think about it as much as enjoy it, just your full participation. So we have weight training and aerobic fitness as a 1-credit class, volleyball, basketball, yoga, dance aerobics, just really kind of the gamut of 1-credit classes, as well as a 3-credit active approach to wellness, where we discuss some of those things about nutrition, about putting together a fitness program, and help people maybe make those lifelong changes for better health.
Wishing everyone a happy holiday. For MATC Now, Fernando Mora.
That in mind, most if not all graduates will be ready to start working in their desired fields. Job Shop has been hosting mock interviews in their offices to better prepare students for that. I spoke with Brandy Worster. Here's what she had to say.
Job Shop offers a range of different services. We help people to revise their resumes, and naturally the next step once you have a resume is the interview process. So it's something that we've been offering for a while, but it's something that's been more, if you've been going back and forth with one of our specialists with your resume, then they would offer, after it's revised, they would offer a mock interview. We decided to take that on more of a larger scale and see how many people on campus would be interested, seeing that we're all students and many of us are going into our first job or the first job within the industry that we're interested in. So that's why we decided to, now that we have more assistants, to go ahead and open this to more of the student population.
There are usually 3 common factors that play a part in the interview process. Brandy listed those for us and even gave us some tips on how to improve on them.
The first one is definitely confidence. In an interview, you want to be confident, you want to be sure of the answers you're going to give, the formats you're going to use when giving those answers, and there are different tips and tricks that you can use even if you are not very confident or you have that fear of speaking in public or one-on-one interviews. There are different tips and tricks that you can use to be able to, I wouldn't say get rid of that fear, but go ahead and use that fear to your advantage in the interview. Another one that we come across quite often is everyone is super willing to share more than what's necessary. You got to remember, they've seen your resume, which is why they've pulled you in the interview. So they're already interested in you. That's why you're going through the interview. So what you share in the interview should always be specific to not only the questions they're asking, but why you're interested in the job, why you're interested in that specific company. So we always suggest research the company. The third one is going to be something that I've been doing. It's definitely keeping eye contact with the ones that you're speaking to. Some of the suggestions I use, if you're afraid of looking someone directly in the face, stare at their eyebrows or the tip of their nose. It's going to look like you're staring at them directly in the eyes, but they're not going to be able to tell that you're looking at their eyebrows or the tip of their nose. So it keeps you from being uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's giving them the impression that they have your full attention.
This is Reggie Adams, signing off.
Great information there, and you know, Brian, what I feel is what makes MATC so unique is the Job Shop is just something of its own compared to other schools, I mean in general, that have like career advising offices. You know, the Job Shop gives advice like that we've seen. We've seen past years packages where, you know, these professors and people really care about like helping these students get a job. So. Absolutely,
they're really there to be able to try to place you in the areas that you're looking for, or maybe it's just jobs while you're a student here as well. So it's a stepping stone towards a career or to graduation as well, and they provide a lot of services that students really take advantage of.
Right, helps build a strong relationship and helps the students become more comfortable. Absolutely. For sure. For our program of the week, Joe Carini takes a look at our very own TV video production program right here on campus. Take it away.
MATC's downtown campus holds a program offering a unique experience for students looking for hands-on education from industry professionals.
The television production program is a comprehensive program in which you start in broadcast television with training-wise. As a new student or incoming freshman, you learn all the aspects of television production, meaning that you learn how to run a camera, studio camera, you learn how to do lighting and floor directing, video switching, you learn how to do audio, writing scripts, teleprompter, things like that, and the nature of being able to get out of here and actually working at a television station or production house or company.
The television production program at MATC allows students to gain hands-on experience in the broadcast television field while diversifying their knowledge base, but it does require dedication and sacrifice.
You do have to immerse yourself into this program. You do have to take time out of your regular job and your family life to make this happen for you, to get through the program in 2 or a lot of times 2.5, 3 years.
Students willing to take on responsibility and make time outside of their normal schooling hours to work in a professional television setting are rewarded with the opportunity to gain insight from professionals.
You know, students have a lot of opportunity once they get here. I tell my incoming students, my freshman students, that take advantage of everything you see, the people you meet, okay? Because once you're gone, you're gone. You don't get that chance again. So, you know, if it means you want to volunteer and work on a remote, go ahead and do that. If you want to work on a TriCasters, go ahead and do that. If you want to work with someone doing lighting or audio or editing and sit in with them and get some insight on what a professional does and how it works in the, as they say, the real world, this is the place to do it. You can't get this in a lot of colleges or universities. They're not attached to a television station. That's what makes this place so unique.
The knowledge and dedication of the teachers and supervisors in the television and video production program are perhaps the defining feature of this one-of-a-kind educational experience.
The instructors and I, we don't feel like we're teachers. I come from a production background. You know, I didn't come through a teaching background. I came through 25 years of working in the production side of things at this television station. So I did exactly everything that I was trained to do as a former student myself. And so I don't feel that, I've never felt like I've been teaching these past almost 10 years. I feel like I've been mentoring and just giving back things. So I'm always open, and as we all are, for students to come in and just, you know, get whatever they need from us.
With a myriad of opportunities and an entire production staff willing to contribute to the learning environment, students are sure to experience not only growth in skill and dedication within the professional environment, but as individuals who are determined to give full effort until the completion of any task.
And follow up on that discussion, we have Fernando Mora here from the TV video production program to tell us more about it. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So let's start with why did you like decide to do it? I mean,
Sure.
it's a very interesting program to get into. Very from what I've observed from the last few years, strenuous, lots of work, lots of dedication. But I mean, very hands-on. So.
Yeah. For me, it all started back in high school when I started taking editing classes my freshman year. And to get to the editing room, you had to walk through the television studio they had there. So I kind of, looking around, kind of just fell in love with what I was looking at and looking at all the lights, the switcher and all that stuff. So after my freshman year, I kind of just wandered back into the studio and made friends with the people who ran the department. And then I started working on productions back in high school. We did a daily morning show where we did announcements, things like that. So it all started back then. And then when I graduated in 2012, I attended Madison College, and I did their media program, which was pretty good, but it wasn't really what I was looking for. I was looking more for television, broadcasting. So doing my research and looking at other schools, I found MATC here, and I said, you know what, my brother lives in Milwaukee. I'm sure I could stay at his house. I'm gonna move there and just start a new program.
Talk about what the access to the studios and the equipment and things. How is that different than what you saw at other schools, and how did that impact your education here throughout this program?
Yeah, well, at the other school I was at, Madison College, there was a tiny studio, and it was more photography based or more making apps and things like that. It was more digital, and I wanted to come to a place like this where we have 2 studios here, we have a television station, so it's a great opportunity for us to get training and to have hands-on on the equipment. I mean, the equipment is awesome. It's thousands of dollars, and it's cool to be able to use it.
Great.
You mentioned before that you were originally looking into broadcasting, and so what have you noticed, being more behind the camera, behind the scenes, producing packages, producing itself, editing, controlling, all the equipment that goes into producing this broadcast? Is that affected your future at all?
Well, I would say that the work I did in high school was kind of the foundations, but coming in first year, I learned a lot from Glenn and taking his class, and then second year with Kevin, you just continue to build on the things that you kind of already know. So it hasn't really changed. I still like it, and I want to continue to do it because it's really fun. It's a lot of work. For example, we did like Letters to Santa, and that was a huge project that I was lucky enough to be executive producer for. And it was a ton of work. I mean, 12-hour days, multiple days a week. But it was very rewarding at the end, and that's coming up soon as well for people to watch.
Right, and so what's going off of that?
Yeah.
What's the most rewarding part of your experience here?
Well, I think, once you finally get to watch the content, I mean, our show right now is streaming on YouTube, but showing my friends back home and my parents and them looking at it and seeing like how it's progressed from my days where I started doing high school videos, and now when I look back on those, I'm like, man, I don't want anyone to look at these ever again. And the work that I'm doing now is like, I can see that it's getting better and better.
Yeah, you can make a fun reel with
your
work from back then.
That'll be like bloopers.
For sure. So, little interesting question here. If you were to be employed at the PBS studios, what job do you think you would want? Are you more interested now being in front of the camera or behind the scenes?
I think I would continue to be behind the scenes. Producing, maybe like doing like working on a documentary or like the 1036 show that PBS just debuted. Like that looked awesome. They have like really cool like drone shots and all these cool looking shots. So maybe working together with a producer that already works here and just learning from them would be awesome.
All right, well, awesome. So thank you so much for coming in this afternoon and sharing with us all your experiences.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem. And now Morgan Walker will give us a look at a food drive done by the Cosmetology program.
I'm a barber cosmetology instructor here at MATC.
Hi, my name is Khadija Taylor, and I'm a student at MATC, part of the cosmetology program, and I'm also president of the hair club.
We do a lot of fundraising and community activities with our student organization called the Hair Club. We are collecting food as much as we can from now until December 20th. Half of the donations we're going to keep right here at MATC and donate to the MATC Student Food Bank, which many people don't know even exists.
The MATC Student Food Bank is sponsored by the Office of Student Life. They realized there was a need for it after they had numerous requests from students for free lunch passes due to hunger and low funds.
The food we're donating to the Hunger Task Force. They were kind enough to donate our donation boxes for free, and they will also come pick up when we're done.
I think it's always important to give back, period. But during the holidays, this is a time where you're thankful, and this is a time where you want to help those of less fortunate who doesn't have much to be thankful for. So it always feels good to give back to your community.
Yes, I agree with that statement. I think so many of us go home for Christmas dinner, and we have an abundance of food. We have gifts. We're with our family, and we know that not everyone is that fortunate, so we want to do what we can to help make the holidays bright for those that don't have as many resources as we do. Yeah, we do a lot with the community. We do, our department does free haircuts several times a week. We also get involved with the Veterans Stand Down. Twice a year, our students will participate on a Saturday, taking our tools and equipment and ourselves over to the National Guard Armory on Richard Street, and we provide free haircuts to the veterans who served our country. So we do a lot of good things in our department, and I'm real proud of my students.
Make a donation when you see the blue food drive boxes at school, in grocery stores, or anywhere else.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and have a happy holiday to all.
What a fantastic look at one of our programs that provides a lot of community service here. It's truly, truly inspirational. Now, Luis has the MATC Minute. Luis?
Thank you, Brian. This week for MATC, we see a number of events taking place here at the Milwaukee campus. This includes another installment of the Quadrant Series, a series of lectures to help students with financial as well as personal issues. Tomorrow is the lecture on learning about home ownership. This will take place at noon in room S318B. For more information about this event, contact Dr. Harriet Krowski. This Thursday, MATC Safety has a workshop presentation on theft prevention. This will take place from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. in room S120. For those winter graduates, the winter commencement is this Friday starting at 6 p.m. at the UW-Milwaukee Panther Arena. And of course, next week, Friday the 23rd, MATC closes for the winter break so we can all go and enjoy the holidays. And that concludes the MATC Minute. Back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Luis. Now for an important message from our MATC Provost, Dr. Dakwar.
MATC is a comprehensive technical college that provides quality education, innovative education, state-of-the-art education to enrich, empower, and transform lives. It's about inspiring our students and giving them choices. It's about collaboration, communication, and community building. We have highly qualified, well-trained, certified faculty that teach our courses. In addition, we have state-of-the-art equipment and a lot of resources for our students. Also, we have accessible locations and affordable education that goes with very comprehensive and high-quality curriculum. That's our key, that's our recipe, and that's the ingredients for good education. As far as our mission, it's truly to enrich, empower, and transform lives. It's about advancing the lives of our students. It's about helping them realize their potential and their dreams. It's all about preparing our students today for the jobs of tomorrow. It's about being a vital economic engine for the local economy. Also, it's about lifelong learning. Many students come here and they have very specific goal in mind. We help them do that. Some want to transfer. We have transfer options here at MATC. For the most part, it's really about jobs, about careers, about changing their future and making a good future for themselves. That's what we're all about. That's what MATC is here for, to really meet the needs of our students and community, transforming lives, individuals, industry, and community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dakwar. Inspiring message. And thank you, Brian, for being our guest co-host this afternoon. And thanks for coming on to the show with us.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, no, of course. Well, that covers everything for today, as well as wrapping up MATC Now for this semester. We'll be back here again next spring. Thank you for joining me on my journey week after week, exploring all the great opportunities here at MATC. Until then, I'm your host, Luis De Leon. Happy holidays, everyone, and thank you for watching.